Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today is just me. It's just gonna be me today. I really wanted to share our miscarriage story from my perspective as a Muslim woman, as a mother. And Will is also going to be sharing his story from a father's perspective. And I feel like that's really important because I honestly did some digging on YouTube and I couldn't really find any videos of fathers sharing their experience. Like there were a handful, and none really from any Muslim fathers at all. And the amount of people that have reached out to us, I can't thank you enough for the condolences, the prayers, the strength that you have given us. It's been so helpful in our journey to healing. It's been really helpful for me, and you guys sharing your stories with me has really helped me, knowing that I'm not alone in struggling with this. So if you haven't already watched our story video, I will link it up here. You can check it out. But I'll also link it in the description. It's like a 30-minute video where we talk a little bit more in detail, but I'm gonna touch on some of what was talked about in that video and then some other extra stuff in this video, just kind of like from my perspective. So here we are about almost a month later after we had our miscarriage and our pregnancy loss, and I physically feel like I'm getting better now. I suffered a really traumatic loss. When I say traumatic, I really mean it. I was in and out of the hospital like 5 times. Like 5 times. That's a lot of times to be at the hospital. I've had 5 ultrasounds. I've had a million needles and blood work and just so many things to try and get better. And my body just was not letting go of this pregnancy. And to this day, I'm still testing positive for HCG. Like I'm a month later. And regardless, I've had surgery, I've had to labor at home, I've had to take so many different medications and antibiotics, and I've had infections, and it's just been a really tough time. And I feel like there's not a lot of people that talk about it. There's tons of videos out there talking about pregnancy. And hey, I was one of those consumers. I was one of those people during this pregnancy watching the pregnancy videos. Like, why would I want to watch a story about pregnancy loss when I was going through pregnancy? And then I experienced it. And then the first thing I did was headed here to YouTube. And I searched and I watched video after video after video of women sharing their stories on how their miscarriage was, how they dealt with it, how they coped with it, how they physically healed, how they emotionally healed. And there's just so much, so much involved. And like I said in the beginning, I didn't find any from Muslim women sharing their experiences. And not to say that the other videos weren't helpful to me, but I really feel like I needed to hear from like a faith perspective as well, kind of like how they dealt with it. So if you are new here, then welcome to our channel. We have 2 beautiful girls and a beautiful baby up in heaven. And I've started saying that I'm a mom to 3. I'm a mom to 2 earth side kids and 1 heaven side kid. And truly it's a blessing knowing that I have 1 baby waiting for me in heaven. And if you don't know the narration by the prophet, there's a narration by the prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, which explains miscarriage, and it gives so much hope. And it's an authentic narration, which means that it was completely came from his mouth. He explained this to someone that had experienced a loss. And I'm actually just going to read that out to you because it gave me so much comfort in the beginning. I can't even tell you how much comfort it gave me, because it's something that we don't want to think about, losing a child, but at the same time we want to know what happened to our child. And the first thoughts that went through my mind when this happened, when I was told that my baby didn't have a heartbeat, was why? Like God, why did you do this to us? And the sad thing is like I was questioning God, and that wasn't right. But at the same time, it's like you're in so much grief and you're in so much emotional distressed that you're in shock. Like, I was in shock. I didn't understand anything. I didn't understand what was happening. I thought my world was literally coming to an end. And it was my faith that gave me comfort again. It was my faith that renewed my belief that I will be reunited with my baby. Not in this life, but in the next, inshallah. So I'm going to read you, sorry for getting emotional. I'm going to read you the narration. So after a miscarriage, when a baby is returned to Allah, Allah holds the child and carries it to a garden filled with other kids. And those kids are actually being taken care of by Prophet Abraham and his wife. And Allah, God says, today your every need will be fulfilled. So play in comfort, rest in peace. All the joys of heaven are for you. And to that the child says, whew. To that the child says, all the joys of this garden are incomplete till I'm reunited with my mom. And then upon hearing this, God says, the day will come that even if the mother was destined for the throes of hell, according to her good deeds or bad deeds, even if she was meant to be destined to go to hell, the baby will rescue her. The baby will rescue her with their umbilical cord and pull them to the gates of heaven. And the baby won't stop interceding for the parents until they are granted heaven. And that is just, it gives a lot of comfort, you know, knowing that our baby's there. Our baby didn't have to face the test of this world. Our baby didn't have to suffer. Our baby didn't have to go through all the trials and tribulations of this earth. And that our baby is there waiting for us in heaven. And we will meet them again. And God tells us that, like, he will test us with the things that we love. And if you've watched our other videos, you'll know how, like, obsessed we are with our kids. And so Allah tested us with a child. A child that we lost. And we decided to name our baby Iman because the direct translation to that is faith. And if anything that this whole experience has done for us is it's renewed our faith. It's renewed our trust in God and his plan, and that sometimes we might not understand why something happens. And that's okay. It's okay to not understand. But at the same time, I know that this baby had a bigger purpose. And this baby came into this world for a very short time. To touch our hearts, to touch your hearts, to make a difference in this world. And if you watched our previous video, you would have seen that we are starting a water well project with HCI, which is a charity here in Canada. And we are going to be building 100 water wells around the world with your help. We can't do it without you guys. If we don't raise $150,000 for it, we won't be able to do all 100, but we really, really want to do 100 water wells for our baby. And to honor other babies that were lost, and to honor other families that have lost loved ones. And to provide clean drinking water to people in so many different countries, 6 countries. And I truly believe that Iman came to our family for this purpose, maybe. Maybe this was the purpose, is to come and to leave a legacy behind, whether that's clean drinking water for villages and communities, thousands of people, or to touch your heart, to touch my heart, to remind us that life is short and that we should do good in this world. So honestly, like, this whole, just everything has really grounded me and has reminded me of my purpose and my faith. And also, it's given me a wake-up call to enjoy every moment with my family, to not have grudges, to not hold anger towards somebody else, and to not go to sleep angry, and to have a heavy heart, and things, just little things like that. I've really been conscious about things like that. And honestly, I am doing a lot better. I don't know why I got so emotional. It's just, it's still very, it's still very fresh. But alhamdulillah, I feel like the road to recovery is starting now that my physical body is starting to get better. But there's so many things about miscarriage that people don't talk about that should be talked about. Number one is you should never be ashamed of having a miscarriage. And in the beginning, I blamed myself so much. I had the worst morning sickness, way worse than I did with Amina and Zainab, to the point where I was going to an acupuncturist at a prenatal clinic here in Toronto that specialized in morning sickness. And it was the only way that I could cope with it. I was on medications like 4 times a day. Like, I had severe nausea. And I blamed myself, you know, when we lost our baby. I blamed myself, and I thought, could I have done this? Could I have done that? Could I have exercised more? Was I on bed rest for too long? And did I not eat my vitamins one day? Or, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many things that cross my mind, and that's just a natural part of loss, especially pregnancy loss, is going through the phases of thinking that it's your fault. And I want to tell you that it's not your fault. And I realized that it's not my fault, and that there was nothing that I could have done to stop it. It was just the qadr of Allah. It was going to happen. And we can plan, and Allah is the best of planners. And once I realized that, I started shifting gears in terms of my grief, and in learning different ways that I can make my body better, make my heart better, my soul better. And I feel like there's just so many things that people are ashamed to talk about when it comes to pregnancy loss and miscarriage. And especially in the Muslim community, there's a lot of women that think that they can't talk about it. And I used to be one of those people. I never heard anybody talk about it. And I never thought it would ever touch me. I never thought that would ever happen to me. And the amount of women that have reached out to me on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok, everywhere, sharing their stories about miscarriage has been mind-boggling. There have been close friends that have shared their experiences of miscarriage that I didn't even know about. And it doesn't matter what stage it's in, whether it's early or it's late, you know? And for us, it was a shock because we thought we were in the clear. We thought we were past the stages of miscarriage loss. We thought we were in the safe zone. And there's never really a safe zone, you guys. There truly never really is a safe zone when you're pregnant. It's something that I didn't even know. And then we experienced our loss. I had to go through surgery because the baby was too big to just do it. And there was a high risk of infection. And it's just what the doctor said that I had to do. And even after surgery, I went back to the hospital with so many complications. And, you know, some of those complications included an infection that could have been very dangerous. Another complication was hemorrhaging. There's just a long list of things that just went wrong. And nobody really talks about the emotional side of it. Like coming home to your house for the first time after you've lost your baby, and seeing the things that you've bought for them. Or after having surgery, having your milk come in, and then not having a baby to feed. And to this day, I struggle with that. I still struggle with trying to tell my body that there is no baby to feed. And just trying to get past that whole aspect of, you know, reminding my body that there's no baby anymore, and I have to heal. I have to get past this. And, you know, still experiencing pregnancy symptoms, and the fact that we had a missed miscarriage, which basically means that my body didn't know. My body did not know that my baby had passed away. And I still continued to produce the hormones. I still continued to have morning sickness. I never had cramping. I never had bleeding. None of that. Had we not done the ultrasounds, we wouldn't have known. And I think that was why it shocked us so much, is because it happened days, like a week before we even knew. So, yeah, I honestly, I feel like I'm kind of rambling now, and I don't really know where I was going with this, but I think overall I want this video to help any one of you see that it's not your fault and that you're not alone. And if you've experienced any kind of loss, whether that's your child, whether that is a pregnancy, whether that is a close family member, that with time, things will get better. And there's this quote that I saw that was about grief, and it was something along the lines of, um, you don't you don't like fully learn how to deal with your grief. You just learn to swim with it. You learn to live with it, but in a way that it's still with you. Like it's always beside you. And it's okay to experience joy after grief. It's okay to experience the good things in life after grief. Um, I've started to find joy again in the sunshine, or in seeing my kids play, or cooking again, or putting makeup on, or getting dressed, like putting on a nice hijab and putting on nice clothes, because I didn't for so many weeks. Um, and that doesn't mean that I'm not thinking of my baby, because I'm always thinking of my baby. And it's just something that's gonna stick with us forever. And you just learn to cope with it. And I want you to know that talking about it really helps. And if you haven't talked about it with somebody, I really, really encourage you to talk to somebody, whether that's a family member, a loved one, a therapist. Just talk to someone about your experience, because the amount of women that messaged me saying that they had to suffer in silence was heartbreaking. And you should never have to suffer in silence. You should never have to deal with a loss on your own, because we're humans and we're creatures of habit and we need support. And when I was going through every hospital experience, I had to do it alone because of all the hospital procedures and policies. And it was so traumatizing. And just talking to Will about it helped a lot. And we lean on each other and we give each other so much support and love. And I have the best friends ever. I call them my sisters. I have the best family ever. And they were here every day. They were calling me every day. They were checking up on my family. They were bringing us food. For weeks we had food. Bringing us flowers and coming here and washing my dishes, and just I'm so grateful. And truly, like when they say like it takes a community, it takes a village, it really does. So you know, surround yourself with people that are good to you, and surround yourself with people that understand what you're going through. And at the end of the day, what matters most is that you take care of yourself, and whatever that might look like, whether that's getting up and brushing your teeth, or whether that's putting on a new set of clothes, whatever it is, just do something for yourself. Because when I started doing that again, I really felt like part of me was coming back. Even though part of me is always going to be not damaged, but like destroyed, I'm still able to find myself again in there. And I want the same for you too. So I really hope this video helped. I'm sorry for all the rambling and the fact that this video didn't really have a structure to it, but I have a lot of thoughts going through my mind, and I just really wanted to get it out. And journaling is another thing that I started doing. A friend of mine experienced child loss and gave me a book, a journal, and I just started putting words down. I started talking about the day that I found out about the pregnancy. I started talking about my symptoms that I had during the pregnancy, how excited I was, the things that I was searching for. And, you know, one day after we had our loss, I opened up my computer for the first time in weeks. And the first tab that was open was loveys and little stuffies that I was searching for the baby. And it just like hit me with a ton of bricks that there's going to be so many things that are gonna remind me of Iman, and so many things that will be triggering, but it's how I deal with it, you know, that matters. And at the end of the day, I'm grateful for everything that we've gone through, because I really feel like it's made me stronger. It's made me realize what my purpose is in this life and what my baby's purpose was. And for that, I'm like forever grateful. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.